Good evening and welcome to round 8 of GPVWC Superleague Lights from Great Britain in Silverstone Circuit. I'm Ewan Gale. No Jacob today, no Jake Sanson either, as it says down the bottom. A few late emergencies to tend to, but I will steer us through the evening of racing. And hopefully it'll be a good one as well. We've had some fantastic races so far in Superleague Lights in 2021, and I'm sure Silverstone will play host to a cracker as well. Beautiful weather in the UK today, and no different here for Superleague Lights. Surprise, surprise, is Matthew Williams, championship leader, fastest in practice, but only 0.02 seconds ahead of championship rival Alessandro Quintai, who of course comes into this race after two terrible rounds in terms of luck. 2 retirements on lap 1 in incidents that he was not at fault for, and that has really swung the championship towards Matthew Williams. So here is the schedule. We're into round 8, the British GP. Then we've got Germany and France before the summer break, and Belgium, of course, before the summer break, and then we'll come back to finish the season off. So really into the European swing now. And first cars are out on track for qualifying. There is one of the Neptunes. We've got 3 driver changes for tonight. We've got Dylan Platt in for George Whitehouse at TR Blue-Voss. There is Matthias Canapino, also out on track with Neptune. He's in for Johan Lindberg. And the 3rd driver change is Pavel Andrzejewski for PLS in for Mateusz Dabrowski. So, Dylan Platt out on track, there's Pavel Andrzejewski. And so, of course, as it has been all season, everyone's got their own track to themselves, basically, is the easiest way to describe it. It means we'll have no blocking, no impeding, and more importantly, no incidents where people have their lap times ruined by other people. So we'll get the fastest people up the top. Summer Frelick for Royal Blue, going through Maggott and Beckett, and then through Chapel Wharf, a series of corners, and no doubt we'll see them absolutely full tilt on their qualifying runs. Interesting to see that Canapino's gone straight down the straight, no need for tyre warm up there. Frelick was weaving side to side to get the tyres into an optimum window. Let's go on board then with Matthias Canapino into Vale and into Club Corner to start the first lap of qualifying. Let's have a look at this Silverstone circuit. Of course, start-finish line changed at the start of last decade with this sweep into Abbey Corner. Used to go left, now goes right. Then through Farm and into Village, low down into the gears. 3rd gear into right-hander, another gear down into gear 2 for the left-hander at the loop. Now power on, traction critical through Aintree Corner onto the Wellington Straight. DRS, the first DRS zone of the lap. Overtaking opportunity in the race, no doubt, into Brooklands. carry the speed through the left-hander. Now you're hard on the brakes for Luffield's double apex corner, really, even though it's one fluid radius. Traction again critical as you're putting on the power, not in a straight line through the old Woodcut corner, not really a corner anymore, and then Cobb's corner, one of the most exciting corners on the calendar. Sweep in, catch the apex, use the curb as much as you want on the outside. Then you've got Maggott and Beckett, seat of your pants stuff. As you go through left, then right again, Beckett's Chapel, crucial for the run down onto the hanger straight DRS again before you even get through Chapel corner. It's a decent lap time this from Matthias Canapino so far. Get your braking zone right into Stowe, really carry the speed through, but watch out because the track tapers. You can't take too much curb on the outside, otherwise you'll have to give up your lap. Heavy braking, last heavy braking moment of the lap into the left-hander at Vale, the right-hander at Club. Traction looks good, nice and stable. Good lap from Matthias Canapino. First lap of the session. And as they all come through, Williams goes top 127.538 and Kintai's only, well, he's less than a tenth behind. So those two already in the league of their own up the top. Michael Ayres third, Sandeep Singh fourth, Frelick fifth, Lalu sixth, Harvey 7, Watson 8, Leonov 9, Olsen 10. Okay. So apologies if you're experiencing some technical issues. Try and get them sorted as soon as we can. On the lap at the moment, we've got Dawa Tapa, Hygo Poom. Poom jumps into P19. Tapa only through sector 1 so far. Onzayevsky's gone P16, good lap for the PLS. So at the moment it is, with 10 minutes left after the first runs, Matthew Williams top by 0.073 seconds. Michael Ayres only 0.2 off and not far ahead of the second Pescara of Sandeep Singh. Interestingly, the second stacks Jack Mayer, great qualifying last time out, only P12 at the moment. So of course, we've had. So we are just going to go for a small break while we fix the little gremlins out. We'll be back for the end of qualifying and the race. Welcome back to Silverstone for Superleague Lights qualifying. Apologies for the little technical gremlins there, but you've still got the most important runs to watch. There's 2:25 left on the clock, and Tom Sarvi's going to come across to start his flying lap. Actually finish his lap at P6 he goes, so decent lap there from Tom Sarvi. What you've missed is that Matthew Williams went faster, but Alessandro Quintai actually got closer on his second lap as well. Only 0.049 between the two championship rivals, so fantastic stuff. Michael Ayers, for once, actually showing pace in qualifying. He's been doing all of his hard work in the races so far, but P3, and surely he'll be a factor, only 1/10 off. And then there's a bit of a void really down to Simon Frelick in P4, 0.364 behind. And Sandeep Singh again doing the dirty work for Pescara, making sure that they pick up plenty of points in the championship battle. 2 stacks, despite Matthew Williams holding a 70-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. Pescara only, 21 points behind stacks. Such is Sandeep Singh's point scoring ability. So another good job in qualifying so far. So just a rundown of the top 10. It's Matthew Williams, Alessandro Kintai 2, Michael Ayres 3, 4th Simon Frelick, 5th Sandeep Singh, Tom Sarvi we just saw go P6, Matej Kezmakers P7, Jukka-Pekka Lalu 4th in the championship, P8, Deegan Fairclough 9th, and Amari Watson, Fairclough's teammate, P10. Jack Mayer down in P15, and the second stack's crucial for the championship, of course. What we've seen, he's been better in the races, apart from last time when he actually did a decent job in qualifying. Fairclough rowdy through Vale Corner there and through Club, and remains P9. So lost a little bit of time, I think, at the end. Yeah, he was 4/10 down on Thomas Harvey's time in the final sector. So Williams back in the pits. That's him done. Let's see who else can improve. Hutchinson stays P12 for 86E Racing. No improvement there. A few people in the pits that won't improve also. So Fairclough's gone back to the pits. Harvey we saw finish. Andrzejewski P17. Schmidt P19 after finishing P3 in Canada. We've got Jon Dix for Razor P28. 2.7 seconds off the pace. Carlsvad for Cosmo, and Guillermo Matti hasn't set a lap time for HD Esports, although he is in the session. 10 seconds left to qualify then. Let's see what people can do. Canapino on his return, P16 at the moment. Jukka-Pekka Lalu, though, is on a lap time and faster than his best lap so far in Sector 1. So too is Michael Ayres, who's already in P3. So too, on a faster first sector, is Mark Hutchinson. Though Tapper fastest in Sector 1 by 0.002 seconds over Matthew Williams. Let's see if he can keep that up and get up the grid a bit. Here comes Jukka-Pekka Lalu, though, on board into Stowe Corner. Look at the speed they turn in. Clip the apex. Really nice from Jukka-Pekka, actually, not using too much of the track either. Heavy on the brakes into Club Corner. Nice on the apex. Open it up. Get the traction perfect. And he has done as well. No twitching like we saw from Deegan Fairclough, and Jukka-Pekka Lalu goes P4. Good lap from the Finn. Michael Ayres next to come across the line and remains P3. Actually, I don't think he improved on his lap either. Here comes Kintai trying to jump Matthew Williams to pole. Personal best first 2 sectors. And he just misses out. Alessandro Kintai, so not possible. Though Tapper goes P14 with his final lap. So that's a good effort. Yanis Volbon only P22. Again, the struggles for Razor continue. So that's qualifying over, I believe, with Matthew Williams, surprise, surprise, on pole. So he's already taken practice honours, and now he's taken qualifying honours as well. And we've seen already this season, we know that that's ominous form for the race, but Kintai so close to him. Look at the gap, 0.049 seconds in the Pescara. Michael Ayres, good qualifying, P3 for 86E Racing. Jukka-Pekka Lalu continuing his fine form, Royal Blue Racing in P4. Simon Frelick on his return with Royal Blue Racing, P5. Sandeep Singh, P6, and actually one of his better qualifyings of the season. Thomas Harvey, P7 for TR Blue Voss. Matej Kezmakers, only P8 for Zederic. Ivan Leonov, good qualifying for him for Revo, P9. Deagle Fairclough down in P10 and half a second off pole. Amari Watson, teammate for Fairclough, P11. Tobias Olsen, a good qualifying effort from him and Neptune Sim Racing, P12. Hutchinson, P13. Del Tapper, P14, we saw come across the line. Jack Mayer in the points at the moment, P15. Then Dylan Platt on his stand-in for TR Blue Voss, P16. Matthias Canapino, likewise for Neptune, P17. And Andrzejewski, P18 for PS Hyperion Esports. Saracino, P19 for HG. And Pascal Schmidt, podium last time out, only P20 for TTF. And bringing up the end of the grid, Frank Hammond, struggling P21, Yanis Volborn P22 for Razor, Hugo Poon for TTF P23, Liam Rance for Revo P24, Matthias Shabinski, not his best qualifying, P25, P26 for Vopta Hoekstra, and another difficult evening so far for HM. And then Cosmo of James Lambert, P27, Jon Dix for Razor, joining the session late, P28, and Guglielmo Matti did not set a lap time. Let's see if he takes a start. So we're going to go on another little break as the drivers head out for warm-up. We'll be back for the race shortly. Welcome back to sunny Silverstone for round 8 of the GPVWC Superleague Lights Championship 2021. Matthew Williams on pole with, alongside him, championship rival Alessandro Quintai. And I'm sure this time Quintai will want to finish a lap after the disasters that were Austria and Canada. 2 incidents have put him out and have put him 70 points down in the championship race. And Sandeep Singh, of course, benefiting from that, coming second in Canada to jump into P3 in the championship, only 13 points behind his teammates. So we've got a few practice starts, as you can see on screen, going on down the Wellington Straight at the end of warm-up, where some drivers just sort of shake off the qualifying angst and get ready for the race. Some drivers go out on heavy fuel loads and try and figure out what they're going to do over the first few laps, with obviously a different feel of car with the different fuel settings. So there's a Super League Lights schedule. As we said, we're into the European swing now. We've got 3 races after this before the summer break, and then we'll come back for Italy and the final stages of the championship, which finishes in October. Will we go down to the final leg of the championship in Brazil? At the moment, it's Matthew Williams running away. So, got 43 laps coming up of the Silverstone circuit in Northamptonshire. We have got the championship rivals on the front row. We've got 2 very fast drivers on row 2, and Michael Ayres and Jukka-Pekka Laulu. Jukka-Pekka Laulu 4th in the standings as well. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting race. Matthias Canapino's got a overriding grid penalty, and so has Tobias Olsen, which is why they're down back of the grid. Guillermo Matti features as well. So here we go, cars are starting to form up on the grid ready, and we're on to a formation lap. So let's take you through the grid. As we said, Matthew Williams back to the standard stacks livery after their home race in P1 with Alessandro Quintai, championship rival, P2, Michael Ayres P3, and Jukka-Pekka Laulu P4. Then it's Frelick for World League P5 ahead of Sandeep Singh with a decent qualifying in P6. Thomas Harvey P7, the only regular for TR Blue today, and then Matej Kuzmakis for Zebra. Ivan Leonov, good qualifying for Revo P9. Deegan Fairclough and Amari Watson 10 and 11 for V12 Crossfire. Mark Hutchinson 86E Racing P12. That was Tapper in the second, Zedric P13, and then Jack Mayer P14 benefiting from grid penalties for stacks in the second stacks, of course. Dylan Platt on a stand-in P15 for TR Blue Boss, and Pavel Andrzejewski P16 for PLS Hyperion Esports Saracino P17. Pascal Schmidt, third last time, jumps up 2 places from his qualifying position, P18. Frank Hammond, P19, and Yanis Volborn only P20, Poom 21 in the second TTF. Liam Ranson in the second Revo P22. Mateusz Zabinski only P23 for in the second PLS. Vopka Hoekstra P24. James Lambert in the Cosmo, last time he raced he got points P25. Jon Dix standing in for Razor P26, William Amati P27, Tobias Olsen P28 for Neptune, and the second Neptune at the back, Matthias Canapino P29. Just need to double check something, but I don't think Matthias Zabinski is actually out on the circuit at the moment. So we'll see if there's a gap on the grid when they come round. They're just coming down towards Stowe Corner, and of course they're trying to get the tyres into the optimum range. You can see the front two especially, they want to get the jump on their rivals and on each other at the start. It's a long drag down into the first braking zone, but there's still 2 corners before it. Abbey and of course Village, the left-hander, farm curve as well. So into the final 2 corners on the formation lap. 43 lap race. It is hot. Tyre wear will be critical with the high load on the tyres. Expect 2 stops, perhaps even some daring to gamble a 3-stop race, especially with the quirky pit lane in Silverstone. Williams lines up on the grid. Let's see how quickly they can all form up. Look for the gap for Zabinski as well. There's lane off in the Revo. Burnouts towards the back of the grid. We will have a little bit of a curve with the Neptune guys at the back, but there we go, all ready. Lights will go on for the GPVWC Superleague Lights in Great Britain. 3 on, 4 on, 5 on. And we're racing at Silverstone, and it's a good start actually from both of the front row, and Williams chops off straight away to defend. Kintai trying to get a run down around the outside, 2x2 at the back. There's a spinner already. We'll try and figure out who that is now. Kintai attacking Matthew Williams, championship rival, into the first braking zone. Williams holds steady, and now Kintai's got to watch for Michael Ayres. We've got runners off at the back. I think he was one of the TR Blue Boss cars, but Williams holds the lead at the moment. There's Kintai, Ayres, Lalu, Harvey, Frelich down to P6, Singh P7, Leonov P8, Watson P9, Saracino P10. Hutchinson already out of the race from P12 on the grid. Where have we lost? We've got Jack Mayer down to P26 for stacks. That could be crucial, as there we go, all filing through. Luffield nice and clean now at least. There's Williams leading at the moment. Good start from both. And now look at this, Kintai under attack from Michael Ayres into Cops Corner. That would be superb if he gets that done. No, not quite. Did well to avoid contact. Kintai stays in P2, and now Ayres has got to look behind him. Jukka-Pekka Lally will be hungry for that P3. Thomas Harvey's already had a good start as well, up to P5. Frelich, like we said, dropped to P6, and so Singh has dropped to space as well. Leonov makes up 1. Down the field, we've got Fairclough down to P22, so he must have been caught up in that, and Dazjewski's dropped positions as well. Frank Hammond, though, and Yanis Volborn picking their way through P12, P13. So really good starts for them. They need a bit of luck, and maybe they've just got it as Harvey goes past Frelich. Oh, sorry, maybe Frelich past Singh, actually. So, yeah, so Williams, Kintai, Ayres, Lalu, Harvey, Frelich, Singh, Leonov, Watson, Saracino, the top 10 after the first lap. So Saracino with a really good lap as well to start off this race. Kiersmack is dropping down. I think he may be in the pits, so to Deegan Fairclough after their issues on the first lap. So now they're all going to settle into a rhythm. We've got plenty of time in this race. Like I said, 2 stops expected. And we'll get a bit of a DRS train, no doubt, as someone goes really wide. Rain free look as they come back on. Do they come back on safely? I think they do. Might have been one of the HCM engineering cars, possibly Hammond in the midfield. So here we go, Hoekstra now up the inside of one of the Neptunes, is Canapino. who's had a good start from the back of the grid, avoided the mess and stays P20 on his return to the league. Air still all over the back of Kintai. Williams already a second ahead and outside of DRS range, but actually lost a little bit of time through Copse Corner. So Kintai, if he can stay there for another half a lap or so, will have DRS down the Wellington Straight, and that will keep him so close to Williams. Could be crucial for strategy when we get to the pit stop window. Look how much time he's made up, and he was exactly the same in qualifying. Middle sector, Kintai has got the beating of Matthew Williams, and it looks like he's got the beating of Michael Ayres through that sector too. So 1, 2, 3, all static. Lalu 4 static, but Harvey's made a really good jump into P5. Already a decent spread through the field as well with all the problems. 20 seconds puts you down into P26 now. So if you're trying to make an undercut work in 10, 12 laps time, you're going to be in trouble. With such a big spread of the field, you've got to find a little bit of clean air, although overtaking should be nice and simple with the DRS and the heavily braking zones. You just got to find the flow, especially with fresh tyres, you'll get so much more grip. So Kintai, crucially, in the DRS zone, will stay with Matthew Williams through the first 2 sectors, and with the speed he had through the middle sector, he might even have a run down the hang straight into Stowe Corner. Ayres tagging along as well. So too Thomas Harvey and Yukapeka Lalu in behind, although Harvey is starting to drop off the Royal Blue Racer. Kintai actually did the fastest lap of the race, 3/10 faster than Matthew Williams on the last lap. Lalu fastest in sector 1 though by 2/10, so Lalu's got a little bit of pace in straight line, it looks like. So through Maggots and Beckett then for lap 3, and it looks like Williams has actually managed to stretch a little bit this time through the snaky part of the track. Let's see how much the DRS will help Kintai close in. And yeah, it's not too powerful actually, so you've got to be nice and close under the rear wing, it looks like, to make a move, unless that's obviously downforce configuration that Stacks have got to make sure that Williams stays ahead. And actually I fancy Ayres is a little bit closer to Alessandro Kintai this time, rather than Kintai getting closer to Williams. So top 3 nice and evenly matched, it looks like. Lalu hanging on but hasn't got the absolute pace, it doesn't look, at the moment, and then Harvey just dropping off slightly, just about a second behind Lalu. Frelick still 6th, Singh still 7th, Leonov, Watson and Saracino doing well. Saracino, is worth pointing out, Saracino's the first of the pack with medium yellow tyres on. It's Saracino, Tapper, Volborn, Hammond, Rance, Poom, Schmidt, Platt and Lambert, P10 to P18, all on those yellow medium tyres. Could be very interested to see how that strategy plays out. Here's Tobias Olsen, P19 at the moment, coming up towards the back of the Cosmo. James Lambert, he's going to have a look down the inside into Brooklyn's on the red tyres compared to Lambert's yellows, and look how much more grip he had on the inside through the Apex Fairclough. Fastest lap after his pit stop. Has Olsen now run the outside of Luffield, having gone down the inside of Brooklyn's. They're still going to be side by side. Lambert's got a good bit of drive as well, but have to file in before Kops. Good move from Tobias Olsen, textbook Silverstone overtake. So Neptune up to P18 and P20 after started at the back of the grid. And now look at Canapino having a look into Maggots and Beckett as we go up to Hygo Poom, who's now just behind Liam Rance's Revo for P14, P15. Of course, Hygo Poom P15, the last of the points paying positions. So there'll be plenty of scrapping about that towards the end of the race. Poom looking to the outside, but I think Rance also had the DRS stopped anything from happening. Good defending from Rance in the Revo. Back up front, still only half a second separating Matthew Williams and Alessandro Kintai. And look at Ayres all over the Pescara as well. Seeing, interestingly, just within a second over the line, but might actually lose it by the time he gets to the heavy braking zone. So after Thomas Harvey, no one's got the DRS. Frelick hasn't got. Singh actually under braking looks good, so much like Kintai, looks like the corners are going well for Singh. Maybe not down the straight. Can he get DRS and try and pull up to the back of Singh and Frelick in the second Royal Blue Cup? Yeah, Ayres visibly closer now as they come through Luffield, so he's going to have to try and stay as close as he possibly can through Copse Corner, through Maggots and Beckett, and get a run down the straight. Of course, Kintai's got DRS, so he's not going to get as much of an advantage. He's got to bank on getting a double slipstream, which will be powerful down the hanger straight. But then there isn't a massive braking zone into Stowe, so you've got to be brave, you've got to be alongside, absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4, almost throw a blanket over through Maggots and Beckett, through Chapel. Let's see if either of them can get a run. And again, Air is much closer to Kintyre than Kintyre is to Williams. And look, Air's trying to put Kintyre off, getting his mirrors. It's not going to work. Kintyre's much too foolhardy for that. Liam Rand still managing to hold Hygo Poom off. And Saracino not really losing an awful lot of time to Amari Watson. In fact, some of the medium tyre runners still doing personal bests, even on lap 5. And these tyres are taking punishment like you don't believe. High speed corners, left ways, right ways. There's so much horizontal load going through these tyres. Tyre wear is going to be critical, and we'll see who's going to have to make the jump into the pits first, who's going to have to conserve tyres a little bit. We'll see complete pace throughout the race. I'm sure this is just trying to string out a little bit. 6/10 separates Matthew Williams from Alessandro Kintyre, 4/10 back to Michael Ayres, and then Lally starting to close up on this as well. So maybe the front three just starting to pace themselves a little bit, like we said, with the tyres. Although Matthew Williams does look as if he's slightly got the better race car at the moment for Stacks. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, trying to do the clean sweep again. And look, Ayres just can't quite stay close enough into Maggott and Beckis to get the slingshot through Chapel onto the straight. But we've seen this all season, you know. We've had DRS trains through stint 1. And then as the field has gone for different strategies, different laps and pit stops, you know, we've had some really strong, solid and fair racing as well, it must be said, throughout the field. And you know, that's what this championship's all about. So it's all about patience at the moment. You can't win the race at the start. You've got to be patient. And you know, these guys up the top, they've got so much experience. They know that. So looking down the field, it looks like Canapino's finally got past Lambert for P19. So front three work their way through Farm and Village. Also Hoekstra P21, Mayer P22, Zubinski P23, and Zajewski P24 after dropping down at the start. But on those medium tyres can maybe make something work. And then the guys at the back at the fastest on track, actually. Fastest on track is Deegan Fairclough and Matej Kersmakers. But they've already had to make a pit stop because of trouble at the start. So we think that was at the first corner that Kersmakers and Fairclough got into trouble. And obviously Hutchinson out of the race as well. Disappointment for the for the 86E racing team. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like they, you know, they're just not stringing out at all. Fantastic pace, and actually, from everyone in the top 8, you can see Amari Watson at the end of that train into Maggott and Beckett. He's P8 and he's keeping a solid pace as well. Every single person in the top 9 lapping within about a 1/10 of a second of each other. Frelick was the slowest on the last lap, 1:31.8. Everyone else 1:31.6 Williams, 1:31.6 Kintyre, 1:31.6 Ayres, 1:31.5 for Lally. So Lally's actually fastest here. Here's Tapper and Saracino. Tapper into P10 then, into Stowe. Top 10 berth for the Zedric, having qualified slightly further down the order than his teammate, but obviously missing the carnage. And Doa Tapper into P10. Good move on Giuseppe Saracino, who of course made the most of the chaos at the start to move up from P18, having qualified P20 originally. So Williams has still got that 6th, 10th, 7th, 10th breathing space over Kintyre, and actually Ayres looks closer than he ever has been. Down the straight, but still not close enough to make a move. Lally now has got Thomas Harvey all over the back of him, so Harvey's showing good pace at the moment to reel the top 4 in, and now he's really part of the group. Frelick 1.4 behind, no DRS, and he'll be in trouble from Sandeep Singh, you would expect. Well, Sandeep Singh has tended to come better towards the end of the races this season so far, having actually struggled in qualifying compared to his teammate, but actually picked up some really good results to end up P3 in the championship, P2 last time out in Canada, obviously behind Matthew Williams. And you know, controversy last time out with Mayer and Kintyre coming together, but what a championship that's really set up now with Stacks and Pescara. Yes, there might be a 70-point gap between Williams and Kintyre, but Stacks and Pescara absolutely locked into battle, only 21 points. And Jack Mayer struggling down in P22. He's 19 seconds off the lead. He is about 6 seconds off points at the moment, and Singh in P7, that could be exactly what Pescara need. Problem is Matthew Williams still controlling things out in front, and look at this, Michael Ayres just cannot get anywhere near, and this is the problem with dirty air, really, isn't it? You can have a faster car, and who knows, maybe he does have a faster car, but he's following so nicely. But you're really wearing those tyres out in the dirty air with scrubbing, and you're sliding all over the track, a bit of understeer, and that might be why some of these drivers aren't making moves. Kintai actually getting closer to Williams in the DRS, up down to 0.3 of a second. So that's as close as we've seen the gap. I don't know whether Williams made a bit of an error or whether that was just DRS, but actually as they come out of Luffield, look how good the traction is for Williams, back up to about half a second. So that's absolutely fine. And again, Ayres into the mirrors of Alessandro Kintai, trying to pull him off, and that's all you have to do is make a mistake and put him off. But as he compromised himself, as he lost a little bit of time, because now Lally looks considerably closer to Michael Ayres than Ayres does to Kintai. So it's all a game of cat and mouse at the moment. It's a big chess game, and yeah, look at that actually. Frelick's still starting to drop off 1.6 now down, and of course the DRS train, that's really going to hurt him. So starting to turn into what looks like a top 5 battle, but of course pit stops and incidents can turn that on its head, as we've seen all season. Quick rundown of the top 10 as we start lap 10. Matthew Williams, P1 for Stax, Alessandro Kintai for Pescara, P2, Michael Ayres, 86E Racing, P3, Capella Lally, Royal Blue Racing, P4, Thomas Harvey, P5 for TR Blue Voss, Summer Frelick in the second Royal Blue, P6 Pescara, and Sandeep Singh, P7, Ivan Leonov, P8 for Revo, and Murray Watson, P9 for V12 Crossfire, and Dawa Tapper with a really good start on the mediums, now the lead of that medium gaggle of cars, P10 for Zedwin. Saracino, Volborn, Hammond, Ransom, Poom currently occupy the last points positions, and if you missed the start, Vegan Fairclough, Matteo Kersmacher, Mark Hutchinson, all caught up in a first lap accident. Hutchinson out of the race immediately. Kersmacher's and Fairclough in the pits to do repairs onto a new set of red soft tyres. So just about a quarter of the way through the race, and Williams has controlled it so far. Not overexerting this himself, it must be said. Last lap 1:31.9, 7/10 off his best lap, 2/10 off the lap of Alessandro Kintai. Of course, Kintai has got DRS twice across the lap, and Ayres has crept back up after his, well, I don't know, it wasn't a mistake, but he just lost time through Copse last on lap 9. So it'd be interesting to see if he can tag along. Now, here is that gaggle of cars, all on medium tyres. It starts with Jannis Volborn in the Razor, and then it goes through Frank Hammond HM, Rance Revo. Here's Hugo Poom on screen in the TTF. He's made up a few places from the start, and he's got his teammate Pascal Schmidt, who was outstanding in Canada, to work his way up into P3 by the end of the race, P16. And the first one who's not on the yellow tyres here is Tobias Olsen. We'll see him in the blue car just behind, the all blue car, not the blue and white car. He's for Neptune. He and his teammate Matthias Canapino, both on red tyres. Dylan Platt in there as well, TR Blue Voss. Not a bad showing on his first race of the season in the Superleague Lights. Tagging on at the moment, and again, this is all for points, valuable points, especially with Thomas Harvey doing so well up in P5. No George Whitehouse, of course, for TR Blue Voss, but if Dylan can get some decent points, I'm sure they'll be absolutely thrilled with that. Amari Watson right on the back now of Ivan Leonov. In the lead Revo, we've just seen Liam Rance behind in the swarm of cars. Now we've got the lead Revo, it's Ivan Leonov. He's holding off on Murray Watson for the moment. He's got DRS as well, up to Sandeep Singh ahead, and that is the group of cars that is now sort of stuck behind Simon Frelick in the same way that Kintai, Lally and Harvey are bottled in behind Matthew Williams. So I wouldn't expect it to be too long before we see a stop in this weather on this sort of track. With the tyre wear that we expect, I imagine laps sort of 14, 15, 16, 17 is going to be your optimum window. We obviously will see people trying to go earlier, trying to go later. So strategy could be key to try and pick up a few places here, but then you're going to be exposed with tyre wear towards the end. So it really is a thinking man's game, especially at the start of the race. Go too soon, you lock yourself into a longer strategy. Go later, you might have a bit more flexibility and see what people do. Pascal Schmidt, P16 for TTF, like I said, in these Gale cars, and actually the impact looks nice and close to him. So still no chance for a move, but of course people aren't really going to risk their car dive bomb at this stage of the race. We'll see that unfold later on. At the moment, more than happy just to sit NASCAR style in a line, draft themselves, slipstream themselves, and try and work together almost to make sure they don't lose time to a group in front. So difficult, and of course you don't want to exert the tyres, like we keep saying, to wear the tyres out. So lap 12, they would have done a fair amount on this tyre. Now Schmidt, of course, on the yellows, they'll go longer by sort of 4, 5, 6 laps than some of the people in the top 10. So it's a Murray Watson in 9th upwards. And look, there's a move here. It's Frelick into the pits, and we've got moves down the hanger straight. I think it's Liam Ransler's now to Hygo Poon. So Hygo Poon goes into P14, and look at Dylan Platt as well, trying to follow his way around on Pascal Schmidt. That would be a good move. He goes around the outside into Club, inside into Vale. Fantastic work, still side by side. Great racing from both of them. Pascal Schmidt holds on to P16 as his teammate goes up into P14 past Liam Rance. Pit stops for Simon Frelick and Vodka Hoekstra. Let's see where Frelick comes out. So P19 for Simon Frelick. He was about 4 seconds behind racer Matthew Williams, and he's come out in P20 in between Jack Mayer and James Lambert. So what sort of free airs are you going to have? That might dictate whether we see people react now. And Zievsky into the pit, also at the back of the field. There's Frelick. He's straight past Jack Mayer. So that is how easy it is on fresh tyres to get past another car. He's on yellow tyres as well, the yellow mediums. So yeah, you might have to react now if you're Pekka Lalu, especially, who was the next car up. Lalu and Harvey, who were the closest cars to him, side by side. Look at this, Schmidt on Riva of Rance. So Rance might be starting to struggle for his tyres, and now Dylan Platt down into Maggots and Beckett. That would be superb. Bit of touching of the wheels. Fantastic racing. Still side by side. It's like Verstappen and Rosberg all over again. Dylan Platt, oh, what a move. That's a bit of confidence on your Superleague Lights debut for the season. Who's out into the pits? Michael Ayres, Pekka Lalu, Harvey as well, Leonov. So all reacting to Simon Frelick's pit stop. So Frelick has lit the touch paper. Let's see where people come out. Has he managed to jump a few people on his outlap? He was 1.5 down on Harvey, remember. Rance also in as expected, having looked to be struggling, Canapino in, and Jack Mayer as well. But Rance was on the yellows, interestingly, so really struggling with tyre wear. Let's see where Thomas Harvey comes out. Importantly, there's Lalu. Lalu is behind Tobias Olsen, but ahead of Frelick. But Frelick's jumped Thomas Harvey. So Royal Blue have done perfectly there. Frelick ahead of Thomas Harvey, now on the same strategy. So up in the top 5 now at the moment with people haven't pit, as Lalu goes down the inside. Tobias Olsen who gets pit on those red tyres, they'll be screaming and begging to be changed. But it's Matthew Williams, Alessandro Quintai, Sandeep Singh. Expect these guys to come in shortly. Of course, Pescara, imagine Singh will go an extra lap. They want a double step. Ayres down the inside of one of the TTFs. It was Pascal Schmidt into P10, into Kopp, so trying not to lose too much time. So Ayres actually has got now Schmidt and Dylan Platt between him and Pekka Lalu, so that's worked perfectly for Michael Ayres in terms of creating a little bit of a gap between himself and his rival. So look, it was all in the DRS train, and now Lalu has got 2 seconds. Williams into the pits, Watson into the pits, both Pescaras carry on. Interesting strategy then from Pescara. Let's see what they can do. Oh, we've got a collision. Is that Harvey? It is. It's Thomas Harvey. I think it was one of Neptune's, Tobias Olsen. It was. So an unnecessary collision really for Thomas Harvey. It'd be interesting to see what's made of that after the race, isn't it? Completely different strategies. They're not in each other's race, and that will be frustrating for the TR Blue Boss. That might allow Leonov through. It does. Leonov through into P14 at the moment. Obviously, that'll be provisionally in the top 10, and Thomas Harvey Matthew Williams has come out behind Michael Ayres, so undercut looks strong. Undercut looks really strong. So while Thomas Harvey was going in half a spin, Matthew Williams has been jumped by Michael Ayres, and Michael Ayres was P3. Kintai and Singh could be in trouble here if they're carrying on. They really could be in trouble. What? Ayres has got a little bit of traffic. He's got a lot of traffic, actually. He's got Hygo Poom in front of him. He's got Frank Hammond in front of him. He's got Yannis Volborn in front of him. Those guys are on a different strategy. They might still be carrying on after this lap. He has to get through ASAP, and maybe this is what Pescara were looking at. Maybe this is what Pescara were looking at. Maybe they think that they can do something. Look, Singh's in pits first at the time. So Kintai's still going on. Maybe they think that the traffic could change the course of this race. One of the cars came, I think it was one of the racers. Yeah, so Poom stays out. I think it was Volborn who came into the pit. Hammond stays out. Sandeep Singh in the pit as well. Let's see what Sandeep Singh comes out. Let's see how much he's lost. He was, of course, P7 behind Frelick, behind Harvey, behind Lalu, Ayres, Williams and Kintai. Sorry, it's P5, wasn't it? He was behind Lalu, ahead of Frelick. So he would have... P9 ahead of Frelick, ahead of Leonov, ahead of Harvey. I think that's a net P4. So Williams, Lalu, Singh, yeah, it will be a net Oh no, it's P5 because of course Michael Ayres has jumped Matthew Williams. So at the moment, Kintai is still out on track, and then we've got this absolute, well, chaos as the leaders try and come through. Not back markers because they're on different strategies, but you know that makes it harder because they don't just have to get out of the way. Matthew Williams dispatches of Frank Hammond in the HM and puts Hammond and Poom between himself and Lalu, who's behind. Now he's only got 0.6 up to Michael Ayres, so he hasn't lost too much time. He'll have DRS as well. Maybe he won't actually. It doesn't look as if he's got it open down the straight. So actually, Michael Ayres might have got away with that. Yeah, look, 1.3 seconds. Kintai in now. Kintai in. So too Tapper. So too Saracino. So Ayres has got a free run. Kintai surely has lost a load of time here. Now, will they get that up? Will they get that back with grip at the end of the race? It remains to be seen. We know there's going to be another pit stop as well, but this could be crucial. Ayres is going to go through surely. Where's Williams going to go? Kintai ahead of Williams. What a little bit of strategy that is from Pescara, and great lap times from Alessandro Kintai to overcut Matthew Williams when the undercut looked all powerful. So disaster for Matthew Williams, in control of the race, and all of a sudden P1 to P3. One with an undercut, one with an overcut, and Alessandro Kintai, having got ahead of his championship rival, stays P2. Hygo Poom still yet to pit in top 10. So apart from that, your top 10 is looking like Michael Ayres in first, then Kintai, Williams, Lalu, Singh, Frelick, Leonov, Harvey, Watson and Dawa Tapper. Tapper and Saracino, alternate strategy. They've gone on to a set of red soft. Let's see how fast they can be. Pascal Schmidt out of the race, I think. He's lost a lot of time. He couldn't have been in the pits that long. And I do believe Pascal Schmidt is out of the race. So that's disappointing for the TTF, not able to carry on the momentum. Although he did say in the interview with us after the race that he wasn't looking forward to Silverstone as much, but nevertheless, DNF, awfully disappointing. And Poom finally pits, I believe. He does. So now everyone's back onto strategy and back on course. So Harvey, as a result of his spin, or half spin after contact with Tobias Olsen on lap 8, 4 or 5 laps ago, he's now behind Ewan Leonov. Lost 3 positions in the pit stop window, was P5, now down into P8. And yeah, not good news for him, and now he's stuck behind Leonov and will have to get some overtaking done. Just looking down the rest of the point scoring position, Guillermo Matti, we've seen how good he is on tyre conservation. He hasn't made a pit stop yet, but he's P12 for HG Sports. And then Yannis Volborn P13, Matthias Canapino for Neptune P14, Frank Hammond P15. So really, you're looking at Liam Rance from P16 jumping up into P15 for that final points position at the moment as Dylan Platt goes past Jack Mayer for P17. I tell you what, look how much more confidence Thomas Harvey had over the curbs through Maggots and Beckett, really attacking the curbs on the apex, especially through the left hander, much tighter than Leonov in front. But how much is that hurting the tyres? Is Leonov able to put a little bit less steering angle in and look after the tyres a little bit more? It remains to be seen. We'll see that at the end of the race. Dawa Tapper, fastest first sector of the race so far on his outlap on the red tyres. On his first flying lap, sorry. So Michael Ayres has just done the fastest lap of the race, a 1:30.491. He leads Alessandro Quintana by 0.6 of a second. Then Matthew Williams goes is P3 as Dawa Tapper actually does the fastest lap of the race, a tenth faster, only a tenth faster than Michael Ayres, despite the difference in tyre. We've got Guglielmo and Matti in the pits as a yellow flag comes out momentarily in the final sector. I think it might have been Jon Dix. Guglielmo Matti in the pits for his first stop out in P21 for HG onto the red tyres behind Vodka Hoekstra. Is that Liam Rance plummeting down the order? I think it might be. So what's happened to Liam Rance? He's dropped down to P20, so he must have had a bit of an issue. So not good news for Liam Rance. He was right on the edge of a points position. Now Dylan Platt's up into P15. Tapper still flying on those red tyres, trying to make something work. 3 seconds off of Murray Watson ahead, who's in P9 for V12. And Watson is just about winning DRS. So looking down, we've got Ayres and Kintyre in DRS for Ayres. Williams trying to stick with the DRS for Kintyre and managing it at the moment. Then you've got Lally 2.7 seconds down, really hurt by the pit stop phase and traffic on the exit of the pit lane. He's dropped off. Singh 1.6 seconds off Lally, another one who struggled with the strategy. Summer Frelick 1.6 really hasn't managed to get optimum pace, but he's doing a really solid job for Royal Blue Racing, and great points if they can stay 4th and 6th in this race. Leonov's done really well, started 9th up to 7th and ahead of Thomas Harvey, and both of them have got DRS behind Simon Frelick as well, but Frelick has proved has not been passable so far. And then Watson also in DRS behind Thomas Harvey. Then you've got that 2.5 second gap now to Dawa Tapper, who is pumping in the lap times half a second faster than Amari Watson on the last lap. So there is on screen that 4-car battle behind Simon Frelick and the Royal Blue Racing. There's Thomas Harvey, who I'm sure has done everything he can to calm down after that contact into the next corner on the racetrack, Stowe. Settled back into rhythm. You don't want to overdrive it, don't want to do any more damage than you need to. Matty dropped to the rear of the field, so I don't know whether he's made a mistake. Just coming out the pits, of course, the lap previous. So, and it's a DNF for Guglielmo Matti, so Matti retires from the race. So that's 4 retirements. Now we've got Mark Hutchinson out on lap 1, and then 4 laps ago, Pascal Schmidt. James Lambert for Cosmos, so not a happy return after a race out, and Guglielmo Matti, as we've just seen, DNFing. So, lap 21 of 43, almost halfway through this race. Strategy looks as if it's going to be key. Still plenty of time for some action though. Matthew Williams actually interestingly just dropping out momentarily of the DRS to championship rival Alessandro Quintana, but really in the grand scheme of things, 70-point difference between the two. Williams will not mind coming second to Quintana today, especially if Quintana's not actually winning the race. Of course, it's Michael Ayres, and we've seen Michael Ayres such good race pace all season long since he's come in. Missed the first few races, came in, did an absolutely superb job in China to get a top 5. Then he jumps into India, starts P9, works his way through and wins the race. He almost did something similar last time out in Canada, got up to the top 5 and then suffered a mechanical failure. Terrible lap for Michael Ayres. but again showing his pace, and this time he qualified P3 and gave himself a big chance, and he's taking that chance with a lovely bit of strategy on the end. Whether that will come back to bite him at the end of the race with tyre life, we don't know. And look at this, Hammond looking at the back of Janus Volborn. Now these two were right up the top end of the field last season and fighting for points. They're fighting for points this season. This is the first time we've seen them both really attacking something in anger, and it's only for P12. It's not what they would have expected, it's not what we expected, but let's see what they can do. Hammond and Volborn going at it. Yellows in sector 2. Can't say anything obvious or anyone obviously dropping down, so it might just be a little bit of a slide or a spin. There's quite big gaps towards the back, so maybe someone's recovered it. Here's I go Poom, look at this, side by side with Jack Mayer for P16 and P17. And look how defensive Jack Mayer goes. He wants that inside line into Brooklands, and Poom actually goes for a bit of a dummy. Beautiful Mansell-esque. Down the inside into Brooklands. Fantastic side-by-side action. Mayer's got the inside, he's got the high through Luffield, but Poom should have decent drive with a bit of slipstream up towards Copse. Will he be brave enough to make a move? Again, Mayer trying to break the slipstream, trying to take the high ground into Copse. Can't do it. And look at the understeer that Poom gets in the dirty air. So now he's got to recompose himself, make sure he's got the front tyres ready for Maggots. Left, Beckett's right down the gears, down into 5th, probably down into 4th. No, keeps it in 5th, big slide mistake, and he'll lose the opportunity. So that's what dirty air does, and now you've got to make sure that you don't lose a position as Tobias Olsen and the Neptune comes towards you. But Poom all over the back of Mayer, he's got softer tyres, that will be a key. And look, he's already back up towards the back of the stacks. So this is for P16, not for points yet, as I think Hoekstra comes in from P19. Hoekstra was one of the first to pit on lap 12, and he's come in 11 laps later. Well, 10 laps later actually, on lap 22. So let's see what he does on his second stop. 20 laps to go at the end of this one. Past half race distance. Hygo Poom not as close to Jack Mayer now. Look, people starting to try and make moves and starting to get aggressive in defence, weaving down the straights, trying to break a slipstream. That's absolutely acceptable. No need to worry about that. They're not dangerous blocks. They're simply trying to break a toe and give themselves the best chance of defending. So Air's still leading by 0.6 up front, ahead of Kintai. Williams third, Lalu's still dropping off 3.3 now to 4th, Singh 5th, Relic 6th, Lane off 7th, Harvey 8th, Watson 9th, Tapper 10th. You've got Staracino, Volborn, Hammond, Canapino, and then you've got, if you have a look just ahead of you, Canapino's the blue car, you've got Platt just behind him, the purple car in front is Jack Mayer P16, and you're riding on board with Hygo Poom still trying to make a move. Jack Mayer's got DRS, that'll help him, and look up front is Platt looking around the outside of Canapino into Stone. It's a really good bit of defensive driving from Canapino, making sure he uses all the road. Platt, we've seen him go around the outside and down the inside here before. He hasn't made it stick. This time he does. Forces him wide, and Jack Mayer says, thank you very much, I'll take that. It's an early Christmas present. So too does Hygo Poom. So Canapino, in a blink of an eye, goes from P14 to P17. He's got his teammate all over him now as well. So desperate luck for Matthias Canapino. That was opportunistic and a fantastic move around the outside into club corner by Dylan Platt for TR Bluevos. Double points for that team at the moment. And look at this. Now this is the chance. This is the chance that Hygo Poom was waiting for on Jack Mayer, and it's easy on those red tyres. Easy on those red tyres, and look, behind Neptune might be making the swap as well. Couldn't get it done. Canapino stays ahead of Tobias Olsen. So now we've got Dylan Platt, P14, Poom, P15, and Mayer back down to P16. Great racing as well, clean racing. Exactly what we want to see, and it's what we've seen for most of the season. We've had a few lifts, but really good, hard, fair racing from everybody involved, and that is all the way through the field, as we've just seen, for the lower reaches of the points. Interestingly, Matthew Williams now 1.9 behind Alessandro Contai. So the front two are really starting to pull away. It shows actually the difference in having DRS and not having DRS around this track. so high speed that Ayres and Kintai pulling each other along. Williams dropping time, 1.6, and Lally already 3 behind Williams as well. Singh 2.6 seconds behind Lally. Frelick 2.7 seconds behind Singh. The pace is there if you can break the toe. I think Voldborn's had a problem. Voldborn's had a problem in the final sector. P18 now he's dropped to. So Voldborn was in the points up to P. Oh look, I think he's dropped it out the final corner and hit the pit wall. No front wing. He's got to do the whole lap, and that is race effectively over for Yannis Voldborn. Terrible, terrible luck. He was having such a good session. Such a good session. Back up in the top 15, fighting for points with Frank Hammond, like the good old days of 2020. And yeah, that's not what you want to see. Being a Fairclough now, though, up into P18 and lurking for points after his issues on lap 1. It also puts Jack Mayer up into P15 points for stacked. And Olsen's past Canapino as well in the team battle at Neptune. So Leonov still behind Simon Frelick. Frelick just has not been able to move him all day. Whether it was Singh earlier on, now it's Leonov. Nobody can get past him unless it's in the pit stop phase. And again, look, it just looks as if he's got such good drivability out of the corners. You saw how close Leonov was to the rear wing of the Royal Blue in front, and all of a sudden, look, he's just down the road. That's incredible. Bit slidey though. That might be why Leonov's able to close up in the corners. Bit slidey into Village Corner and then through the loop. But Leonov just hasn't got the grunt out of the corners. That's incredible. That's just all down to setup. And now DRS will pull him back closer. Surely down the straight, and it does. And then he's got to nurse the tyres, clip it. That's really nice considering you've got all the turbulent air in front. Struggling a little bit, look, Leonov through Luffield, drifting slightly wide. And again, look, Frelick looks nice and safe. So we've got more pit stops. Fairclough pitting from P21. Voldborn's managed to get back to the pits. Hoekstra, having pitted, has done a fastest first sector of the race. Kintai, faster than Michael Ayres through sector 1, and then loses that time in sector 2 again. So there's really nip and tuck up top. Meanwhile, this gaggle from Frelick in P6 through Leonov, Harvey, Watson and Tapper remains static. And again, this is going to come down to strategy in the pit stops, and then we'll get Elders out after the final stop, no doubt. Of course, people at different cycles as well. People coming in on lap 12, some people coming in if you can tie on lap 15, 16. So a few laps difference between the tyres. We've got some people, Tapper and Saracino, P10, 11 on soft red tyres, and we'll have to go medium. Or they won't actually, I think they started on medium, so they might be able to go soft again at the end, whereas everyone else will go soft but probably pit at a different time. So really interesting to see as Frelick goes down to P10. So has Frelick had an issue, or is Frelick in the pits? I think he might have had an issue, because Frelick's gone down to P10. Meanwhile, Kintai up in P2 is as close to Ayres as he's been since the pit stops. Only half a second now. And he'll get DRS as well. So Frelick's issue, whatever it was, means that Leonov goes P6, Harvey P7, Watson 8th, Tapper 9th, and Frelick P10, but he's still a second behind Tapper, so he hasn't lost too much time, just a handful of positions. Here comes Kintai, DRS down the straight. Interestingly, unlike previous campaigns with Pescara in the lower leagues of the GPVWC, where they tended to have the highest top speed of everybody, they haven't got the top speed to battle Michael Ayres down the straight. In the AC, there's 3 kilometers an hour difference through the speed trap, and that's even with the DRS. So Alessandro Kintai not able to draw too close in, as we've got pit stops as Harvey is Frelick into the pits for the first of the second stops. So Kintai still trying to claw up and try and make a move on Ayres. This is really close now, 0.3 of a second down the straight. Ayres is going to have to start thinking about defending. Is Kintai thinking, this is my moment, this is my time, do I want to get the stop? Do I want to get the move done before the stops? We know he went longer on the first stint, no doubt it'll go longer on the second stint, and then they'll have fresher tyres at the end of the race. Let's see what he does. Harvey and Frelick have come out the pitch, P13, P14 behind Hygo Poo. So let's see what they can do with a bit of free air. Will we see Undercut City again? Or will we see some people able to do the overcut like Alessandro Quintai did? We'll have to wait and see. The undercut looks like the most powerful. He's just Quintai managed to put some fantastic laps in. Now he's really, really close to Ayres though. Really close. Is he going to be able to make a move, or is that as close as you can get? And in fact, Ayres peels off into the pit. So Ayres was the first to pit out of the top guys. Gets it slowed down for the speed limit. You don't want a penalty at this stage of the race. We've got other people coming into the pits as well behind. But Michael Ayres pits. I think Yukabeka Lalu as well is in the pits for Royal Blue. See what sort of pace these guys have when they come out. Because we've got to wait for Yukabeka. No, he'll be fine. Yeah, he's fine. So that's probably as tight as they would have wanted it to be at 86 e-racing though. With Yukabeka Lalu coming in, Michael Ayres comes out of the pits and just got a beautiful buffer. Comes out ahead of Frank Hammond, ahead of Yukabeka Lalu, and with a razor in between as well. A razor, so a back marker, so a nice buffer. And that's, you know, we were saying P1 to P5 was all within a DRS train of each other at the end of the first stop, but at the end of the second stop, we got Ayres ahead of Yukabeka Lalu by somewhere near 6 seconds, 7 seconds. So really, really big gap strung out, and that is the power of the DRS around here. So now, with people off strategy, we've got Amari Watson P5 tucked in behind Ewan Leonov, who's now P4. Of course, this is for lower in the top 10 at the moment. As we cut to Thomas Harvey trying to make his way through the traffic up to the back of Hygo Poom already, P12. Can't get through into Cops, and this is costing him valuable time. This could cost him in the lower reaches of the top 10 when they get to the pit stop phase. We've got other people who need to pit. They might be able to overcut him. Desperate times for Thomas Harvey. He's got to get past Hygo Poom. Sandeep Singh in the pits for Pescara. Look how close this is. Poom really trying to defend hard. And he's going to go down the inside, Thomas Harvey, into Stowe corner. Really, really good move. And very happy to say, joining me in the commentary box is Menno Con.
Hello.
How are you, Menno? How are you doing?
I'm well. Watching the race like you on a big screen. So yeah, looks interesting. Now.
Well, you've joined us just for the crucial final pit stop phase. We've got Singh coming out of the pits. Leonov's been in. So too is Amari Watson, Saracino. Hygo Poom has come in after that battle with Thomas Harvey. But Thomas Harvey really, you know, needs to make sure that he hasn't been cost there behind Hygo Poom with Leonov and Frelick. And actually, Harvey's come out ahead of Frelick and Leonov, so the undercut still worked. Singh in P6 though. Not too far behind Lalu, who's probably gained about half a second by going a bit longer. So interesting to see now where Quintai comes out in relation to Ayres, having performed an overcut on Matthew Williams earlier. Can he do the same on Michael Ayres?
Yeah, I think that would be very interesting because of course Ayres was the first to pit, I believe, in the first pit stop. So yeah, let's see where Williams now comes out to, and then what Quintai will do. I think Williams will give a good indication where Quintai would be if he pits.
We've got Frelick trying to make his way through the TR Blue Boss of Dylan Platt, who doesn't really fight it hard. Good driving from Dylan Platt. He's on a different strategy. Really impressed with Dylan actually today so far. Some fantastic overtaking moves. Here comes Matthew Williams out of the pits for Stacks. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Michael Ayres. Yeah, it's still quite a sizable gap. It's a bigger gap actually than it was before he made the pit stop. So losing DRS, we were speaking before the race, Menno, that DRS was crucial around here, and if you dropped out of DRS, your race was run really. And look at that 4-second gap now, pretty much the whole of the Wellington Straight. So Williams looks out of it.
Yeah, Williams looks out of it, but yeah, you never know. But this gap looks so big that I would even think like if Quintai now pits, then he will be behind Ayres from the pits. But it's also about Yeah, which tires do you got left at the end? How much percentage? So yeah, maybe Asano Kutai is looking at that, so that yeah, he pits later, but we will have more tire life in the final few laps.
Well, Michael Ayres isn't looking after his tyres. A 129.2 fastest lap of the race. He is going for it and trying to make a gap. Alessandro Quintai into the pit lane. Jukka-Pekka Lally onto yellow medium tyres for the final stint. So maybe he's thinking he might be able to push a little bit more on those tyres maybe. Let's see where Quintai comes out in comparison to Ayres. And let's see if Williams has managed to pull in a little bit on an outlap as well. Harvey through on Frank Hammond. Frank Hammond yet to pit, of course. Then Platt came in on the last lap. Here comes Quintai out the pits. Where is Michael Ayres going to be? Michael Ayres already through. Michael Ayres already through. It's not even close. Quintai was right under the rear wing as Ayres came in, but that two lap difference has cost Quintai a lot, 2.6 seconds. And now he's got to hope that comes back to him towards the end of the race. Will he have the tyre life?
Yeah, but he's quite a bit behind. I fear Matthew Williams is not close enough to get DRS out of Quintai. So.
Mano, if you were in if you were in this race, what would you do? Would you get soft, medium, soft? See Lally finishing on the yellows.
What I would do, I think, I'm not sure if that's the strategy Dawatapa was on, but maybe I would start on the yellow tire at the beginning, because like we saw, it was a big DRS train, and if you can follow the DRS train with, well, not the fastest tire, then of course you can use that later in the race. So yeah, that's what I would do. But of course, I would like to end with the fastest tires that you can push at the end, so that you have maximum attacking power at the end. So I see a lot of drivers actually doing that. Because with the medium tires, yeah, you can still be quite fast, but yeah, if you really want to, I think, pull off the moves here, you want to be on the red tires also at the end of the race.
Yeah, we've seen all the moves with the red tyres in the middle stint as Matthew Williams does the fastest lap. So you said don't write him off. He is already closing in and he's not that far off. Alessandro Quintai all of a sudden 1.2 seconds almost in DRS range, and Quintai actually starting to close in on Michael Ayres as well. 0.2 faster in the final sector, 0.4 faster in the middle sector. Alessandro Quintai on his outlap. So, you know, this isn't over yet. Maybe I've gone too soon. That 4 seconds looks really massive, but considering there's only 1 or 2 laps difference, that lap, those times are starting to come down. 128.7 from Matthew Williams is absolutely stonking as a lap time. Half a second faster than Michael Ayres.
Yeah, it's also how will you what will you do during the stint? I think there are 2 options. There is an option to push at the beginning of your stint, so yeah, push as hard as you can or really hard and look where your tires are at the end. Or you will be a bit more conservative, so you are not going to push a lot at the beginning, but you will save some tires at the end. And maybe that's something what Michael Ayres now is doing, is he pitted the first one of the top 3, so I think he pushed a couple of laps at the beginning. I think now he's saving a bit, and I think when they start to get really close, so around the 1 second, I think then he will be pushing again, just to make sure his tires are a bit like a bit better, because if he now pushes, then yeah, it could be a problem at the end, and Michael wants to have decent tires at the end. Of course, they will not be how you say showroom fresh, but he wants to have decent tires when it's all to play for. I think with 5 laps to go.
Matthew Williams in the 128 again. Alessandro Quintai only just shy of that. It's like qualifying over again. Michael Ayres to 0.2 off. So, like you said, maybe trying to keep a bit of the freshness in those tyres. Yellows in sector 2. Let's see if that's cost anyone positions. I think it's Deegan Fairclough. Deegan Fairclough DNFing. So, not a race to remember at his home race for Deegan Fairclough in the crossfire.
Yeah, it's a big shame. But actually, looking back to Williams and Quintai now, what they want is to be really close and get into DRS, because if Quintai gets into DRS, it will automatically give him a few tenths extra per lap on lap time, and that's what you want. You want to have a free lap time just because you can open DRS, and I think Matthew Williams is searching for the same. So yeah, they're actually actively searching for that second and then open DRS. I think that's what they're now aiming for.
It's fascinating because constantly, since their pit stop and in qualifying as well, Kintai and Williams pretty much neck and neck through sector 1. And then Kintai is so much faster through sector 2 by a couple of tenths, 4 tenths faster than Michael Ayres as well. And then Williams is faster in the final sector, and Kintai and Ayres are pretty much even in the final sector. So it's yo-yoing about throughout the track, and that, of course, all comes down to setup, Menno.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to setup. Of course, you've got different philosophies about what you want. Some go for the low speed option, then you will be fast in, let's say, the first sector and in the final sector, and then you've got the more acceleration in high corners speed sector 2. Yeah, it's all what you like.
DRS. Look how close he is to DRS now. He might even have nicked it. I don't think he was close enough in the detection point, but he is now within a second. He's so much faster through Maggots and Beck. It's definitely got more downforce. And with the Scar starting to smell blood, I think.
Yeah, they just see that car, the 86E Racing. You see that car getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know that, it's just it will be easier. You can, I think, with Kintai, he can focus on the guy ahead, and as a racer, it's really really good to have a focus point. You can more or less copy the car in front, but you can do everything a little bit better if you see he is running wide at one corner, and you can change that and fight for it. And I believe he now has got DRS. Yes, confirmed. So.
Yeah, and Williams hasn't been able to follow him as much as he did at the start of the stint, so Kintai really started to put pressure on Ayres by himself very quickly through the rest of the top 10 after pit stops. Lally still 4th, Singh still 5th, Harvey 6th, Leonov 7th, Frelick 8th, Watson 9th and Tapper 10th, so Frelick managed to get back ahead of Watson and Tapper after pitting after his spin. So good news for Frelick, but might struggle with a bit of tyre wear at the end of the race. Lap 36 of 43, and Kintai now in DRS range, looking to make a move on Michael Ayres.
Let's see how smart Kintai and Ayres are when they go into battle, because for now Matthew Williams looks to be out of the fight, but if those top two, if they are going to fight, then of course they will lose a lot of time. I think that's something where Matthew Williams is waiting for, because then he can easily get into DRS, because he now is only 1.3 behind Kintai. So if Kintai starts to battle, it can also help Williams. So do you want that? Do you want to help Williams getting closer and closer, or will Kintai wait a bit for placing an overtake, if he at least is close enough, just to make sure Williams is not close enough to
And the thing is that we've already seen in this race, Mano, that, I think it was Dylan Platt and Matthias Canapino. Canapino was 14th, and Platt made a move on him into Club and Vale. And by Abbey Corner, the next corner, Canapino was from 14th to 17th. Such is how much time you lose when you're battling with a car on the track, such is the nature of the track.
Yeah, but what it is, I think, if Kintai would pass Ayres, if that would be possible now, then one of the cars will lose, I think, at least half a second, because you need to look into where the other driver is, maybe go wheel to wheel into one of the fast corners, and Matthew Williams just can relax, just take the corner like he wants to. He doesn't need to look into somebody next to him, while Ayres and Kintai might need to do so. He's not out of it at the moment, but he's also not close enough, Williams. So we shall see what will happen. Maybe it's Kintai has just too much speed and he will pass Michael Ayres easily. But knowing Michael a bit, he will fight really hard for it.
6 laps to go, Mano, and Kintai was really ragged through the middle part of that lap. Maybe Matthew Williams will have a bit of tyre life to have a go at these two, because Kintai was all over the place through Maggots and Beckett's, trying to close in to Ayres in the turbulent air. And real big snap of oversteer with Chapel as well. That's why he didn't get close enough to Ayres. Ayres now, though, starting to take defensive lines, trying to break the toe down the straight. Maybe he's starting to get in his head a bit.
Mitch Williams can just be relaxed, save the tires, and if something happens, then he can automatically get closer, and he has better tires at the end. So yeah.
Already 3/10 closer.
Yeah. Also reminded that Williams is so far ahead in the championship that he can easily finish P3. Of course, he doesn't want to win or P2, but yeah, I think he just looks into it, and if it's P3, then it's still a lot of good points this race, and if it's more, then yeah, he will take it. But he will be awake. Yeah.
Yeah, just going to say a reminder that Kintai retired on lap 1 of both of the last 2 races. Incidents that weren't his fault has left him 70 points down in the championship to Matthew Williams. So he has really got a bit between his teeth trying to make up as many points as he can. He can see Williams behind him, first to third. It keeps the championship alive at least. You know, it's still alive. Of course, there's plenty of rounds left, but we're almost halfway through. This is the halfway stage of the season. He needs to start making points at every race now. And if he can get ahead of Ayres and make that points-wise in this race, cut it down to about 60 points, then he's going to be absolutely chuffed. So Kintai really going for it. Like you said, Williams probably more than happy to take what he gets from this.
Yeah, that's at least what it looks like. Oh, and Kintai is quite close, but he cannot pull it off at the moment. Yeah, maybe he is waiting a bit, because if you now go for a move and yeah, you hurt your tires, then it's still 4 laps to go. So maybe that's the game Kintai is playing as well.
Another little battle to look out for in the top 10 is Summer Frelick on the yellows, only half a second ahead of Omari Watson and Della Tapper's in that train. So too Giuseppe Saracino. They're all on softer red wall tyres and will have an opportunity to overtake you, feel, in the closing stage of the race. Lap 39 down into Stowe, and Kintai just can't get any closer than he is at the moment. It's the same thing every single lap. Is that a problem? Here is that battle I was on about. Watson not too far. Look at the slide behind from Della Tapper in the Zedric. Watson trying to close in on Summer Frelick. Is this going to be a war of attrition with the tyre wear?
See which one is the fastest, and I think the fastest guy is Saracino behind of those 4, but yeah, of course with 4 laps to go it will be difficult for him to get closer.
Interestingly, out of those lot, Frelick lapped fastest on the lap previous, so whether he's got a little bit more purchase out of those yellow tyres at this stage of the stint, and we saw Lally do the same, so it's clearly a thing that Royal Blue tried, because they'd already used the yellow tyre. They could have gone on to the reds if they wanted to, but they've gone on to the yellows, and it's seeming to pay dividends at the moment.
Yeah, just a bit more grip at the end and a little bit less degradation. I believe Kintai now is really close again on 5 tenths.
Yeah, he is, and interestingly, Matthew Williams still can't bridge that gap, so maybe he is more than happy to just get the 1.8 now to the back of Kintai. So
he's close.
Up top, 4 laps
he's
left,
very close now.
This is as close as he's been. In the slipstream, in DRS, this time gone to the right hand side to try and cover that off. Trying the dummy, Kintai can't go. Ayres defended really well. But that's a warning shot. That's a warning shot. They'll have 4 laps left at the end of this one. And Kintai really showed his down inside.
Yeah, but I just saw Quintai's tires in that corner were screaming a bit, because he made quite a late move and then put a lot of weight on the tires. So yeah, the tires are losing performance, but I guess there is enough performance in for a few more attacks. He is close. What can he do? Can he get the win, or will it be Michael Ayres who just drives really good, but he doesn't have the DRS? And look how close Kintai now is then.
Getting this little ahead into it on the second stint. Got to be careful before that happens.
Well, I believe we've got a bit of problems with Ewan's microphone, so let's see what Kintai can do. No, he's still quite close, but I would say not close enough. But he will wait for DRS, and when that's opened, then he can try it. And really aggressive over the curb. I don't think he's close enough. And time is ticking out for Alessandro Quintai. Can he go for it? No, he's not close enough. Yeah, I think he needs to try it next lap. If he can get close enough, or will the tires now be, too short? And will they now, lose all the grip which was available? Not the best of corners for Quintai at the moment, so maybe this is Michael Ayres, completing the job. Of course, we've got 2 laps to go. And I believe Ewan is back.
I hope I'm back, because it was just getting exciting.
Yeah, it really was exciting, but still nothing has changed for now.
Yeah, and actually it looks as if Quintai has actually dropped a little bit of time compared to the last lap and not able to make a little bit of a dive into Luffield. So he's going to have 1.5 more laps and 3 more DRS zones to try and make an effort. Ayres has actually done a really good job of defending all the way through the race when he was at P3 with Lalu behind at the start, and then obviously his strategy's got him to the front of the field, and he's just driven beautifully, very much like India, apart from he hasn't had to make his way up from P9.
See, he's getting closer and closer, but this is not close enough. Ewan, this is not close enough, I think. Or will the DRS now help a lot? Oh, he's got a lot of slipstream, and DRS will have a big toe, but I don't think it's enough now. He cannot make a move stick.
He's wide through Stowe. I think you're right about the front tyres. I think they are starting to scream a little bit for mercy. Not really got the front grip he needs to stay close, but he's still got so much more speed in the second, so it doesn't really add up. On to the final lap, and Michael Ayres of the British Superleague Lights at Silverstone. And Quintai is so close to him. This has been absolutely brilliant. It's wound itself up to a final crescendo. Let's see what will happen. Quintai tight through Village Corner, then through the loop. He'll have DRS. He's really close this time.
Really
Ayres has
close.
got really good traction though. Ayres got really good traction. He's given him a fighting chance. Quintai within 2/10 this time. He's got to have a go down the inside. Should he goes to the outside instead? Ayres comes it off. As Dylan Platt drops out the points as well down the order. Such a shame after a good race. DNF. Terrible luck. Dylan Platt. Quintai though cannot get through on Michael Ayres. Coming through Woodcut Corner, down into Copse. This is where Quintai's been good all race long. If he can stay that close, he'll have a chance into Stoke. Through Copse Corner, both of them perfect. And in fact, Ayres actually pulling out a little bit of speed. Maggots and Beckett has got to be absolutely nailed.
Just imagine what is going around in their heads, because
Ayres
this is the
wide.
chance.
Ayres went wide. He's got a chance now.
This
Ayres
is the
went wide
chance.
through Maggots and
This is the
Beckett.
chance. He needs to go around the outside, but he can do it. He can do it. We'll try it.
It's
No,
a
he
little bit
can't.
of a touch. Good defence from Michael Ayres down the inside. Last chance into Club. Are they going to make contact? Goes to the outside. He's going to try and get the inside into Vale on the last lap. Quintai, bit of contact. Quintai still down the inside. Ayres to the outside. This could be a drag to the line. This could be fantastic. Quintai.
Yes, no.
Quintai,
Ayres. It is.
Unbelievable.
Yes. What a finish.
That's the best finish
I'm
I've ever
actually
seen in Superleague
standing.
Live.
Oh, what a finish. What a
contact
show.
by the back. Frelick's into the wall. I think.
Oh, we actually missed it.
Watson as well. Tapper's gone through.
Oh, wow.
Tapper's gone through. So Frelick into P11. Tapper's gone through. Watson down to P9. So just to pick that up, Singh's come 5th. So Lalu, Singh 5th. Harvey 6th. Lane off 7th. Tapper through into P8 because Watson and Frelick got together on the final lap in Stowe. Saracino P10, top 10 for Giuseppe Saracino for HD, and then Frelick comes home 11, having 12, Poom 13, Mayer 14 for Stack, Olsen into 15, and Canapino 16. Here's Mackers, Zabinski, Hoekstra, and Zievski.
Yes.
And
So,
I think everyone who retired then, and Ransvold won Flat Fairclough, Dix, Matty, Lambert, Schmidt, and Hutchinson. What a finish that was.
what a finish.
Unbelievable. 0.010 seconds.
Well, I seen a lot of sim racing, but for the win, this was really special because you expect something will happen and then it happens the last lap. Oh, and yeah, they both went for it. What an amazing finish this was, and fair play to both of them. From Matthew Williams, I think hats off to I think the top 5, of course, everybody who scored points. Yeah, Dautapper had a very good race. Let's say Giuseppe Saracino, well done after I think last round.
Just going to go through the results. Michael Ayres winning on the line, holding off Alessandro Quintana. Matthew Williams third will hold his championship lead, although that will be cut a little bit. Pekka Lally, standard consistency from him P4, Sandeep Singh P5, crucial points for Pescara in the Constructors' Championship. Thomas Harvey P6, Leonard P7, Dautapper fighting his way up to P8 for Zedric. Amari Watson P9 after final lap contact at Stowe, and Giuseppe Saracino P10. Frelick losing out on the final lap, P11. Frank Hammond from the back of the grid does really well, P12. Much better from him and HM Engineering. Heigo Poon, P13 for TTF. Jack Mayer making his way into the points, P14, and will be crucial 2 points for Stacks at the end of the season, no doubt. Tobias Olsen, P15 ahead of Neptune teammate and stand-in Matthias Canapino, who was involved in many great battles through that race. Matthias Keersmakers, after his issues at the start of the race, P17. Matthias Zabinski in the first of the PLSs, P18. Bobka Hoekstra kept himself out of trouble but couldn't rise any higher than P19. And Pavel Andrzejewski involved in the first lap shenanigans, P20. And the last of the people on the lead lap, because Liam Rance, P21, Revo. Dylan Platt retired on the last lap, but still gets classified ahead of Janis Volbon, because Volbon was a lap down. And Deegan Fairclough, John Dix, Gilly Ellerman, Matty, James Lambert, Pascal Schmidt, and Mark Hutchinson all retired from the race. What a race it was. It wound itself up, and we got all of the excitement at the end of the race. Absolutely superb. Well, Menno, have you caught your breath yet?
Wow, that finish. I saw a lot of sim racing all over the years, but this really yeah, got me excited. Wow, that finish. Yeah, that's, I really enjoyed it, and I think everybody who watched this broadcast actually did. Oh, maybe we can post a photo somewhere how close it was on the line, because I really think, yeah, they were really side by side. I think it's like, yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Will we get a repeat in Germany in 2 weeks' time? That's next up. Our annual Gambit in Germany, 29th of June. Of course, before that, though, we've got the lower leagues, Formula Challenge and Super Cup. But also, this coming Thursday, we've got the Super League race at Silverstone. And my goodness, if it is as good as what we've just seen in the final few laps in Superleague Lights, then everybody's going to be in for a treat with GPVWC. We're hoping for some interviews. We haven't got anyone waiting just as yet. So, Menno,
I don't think.
Why don't I ask you?
Yeah.
Did you think across the line? Because I called it as Kintai. I thought Kintai had it. Did you think it was Ayres, or did you think it was Kintai? Before the timing screen made up your mind for you.
Yeah, it was very difficult to see actually, because Quintai had the inside line, which of course I think normally is the better line, but Ayres took more speed on the outside line. So yeah, it was too close to call it actually, and I wouldn't be surprised if I need to see it back if it was just a move in the final few meters. So somebody had just more speed, and I guess that was Ayres. So maybe he gained a bit more just when they went to the line. So yeah.
Well, the reason I called Kintai is because the timing screen actually, as they crossed the line, flicked to Kintai in P1. We're just waiting for a few interviews to see if one of the top 3 pops in for a little chat. It'd be great if Michael Ayres wanted to chat after that, because that would be incredible to see what it was like from his point of view. Just absolutely breathtaking. I think we're still a little bit giddy after that.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah.
The thing is, it was great strategy from Michael as well to get to where he was. really, really strong pace on his outlaps and on the first stint to get from P3 to the front, and then he did the same on the second stint and just about managed to equal those tyres to the end there, although he was under pressure.
Well, I believe he will be joining for an interview. Let's see. I'm waiting for him to join. Wait here for interview. Yeah, there he is. Let's drag him in for the interviews. And Ewan, you can ask him a lot of questions.
I got it decided then. That was incredible. What real life?
And I believe the microphone of Ewan has got some problems again. So then I will ask the question. Michael, wow, that finish. Just tell us how you saw that and what went through your mind at the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably tell my voice. I'm actually like physically shaking. I don't think I'd actually be that much under pressure in all my life. I have to give props to Quintai though. He definitely pushed me right to the line. I think I probably lost the tires with about 3 to 4 laps to go. And yeah, it was just a case of just try not to make a mistake, and then obviously on that final lap into Beckett, so I went a little bit wide, which then obviously ruined the run onto the straight. And then obviously, I don't really know how close it was, but all I could hear was his engine. I couldn't see him at all. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah, and then the emotions when you got over the line. Tell us what went. Yeah, what did you feel when you crossed the line, and then you of course check, did I win it? Did it get P2?
Yeah, I was pretty much shouting straight away. Like what was the gap? Like where did we finish? Where did we finish? And then I think my engineer came over and just went, yeah, we did it. Only just, but we did it. So yeah.
So very good. But I would say this race has also been going your way because of the strategy. Can you tell us about your strategy? Because you did something different than the others, at least than Williams and Quintai.
Yes. So strategy was, well, it was really all about saving the front left tire. Maybe in the first stint also saving the rears, but mainly it was the front left tire throughout the whole of the race. And I think no matter what, we wanted track position. We wasn't really that bothered about overtaking. I know I did try up the inside of Quintai in lap 1, which if that did go wrong, then I would definitely put my hands up. But luckily it didn't. But yeah, it was just all about finding a gap, which pretty much never came in the first stint. I think we had probably a 2-second buffer of a gap. And I think at that point, I just said to my engineer, let's go for it. We have to go for it. And luckily it worked out.
Yeah. And this is now your second win of the season, if I'm remember it correctly.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So we're now halfway on the season. What's your aim for the second half, and which circuit you think you and the team can shine?
I'm really looking forward to Singapore. I've always been in a league of my own at Singapore. I don't really want to give away too much, or at least big myself up, because one thing leads to another, and I end up putting it in a wall. But that's for another day. I don't know. For the rest of the season, it's just it's all about points. Top 5s I'm happy with. If I can snag a win here or there, I'll be over the moon. But I think at the end of it, it's more of a case of just points, and then we'll go again next season.
Yeah. Will it ever be as excited as today?
Hopefully not. I want a more buffer lap. More buffer lap time.
Yeah, I understand. So Ewan, I believe, is returned. Yeah, you've got anything to ask to our race winner?
Just like I was going to say, I started saying, Michael, I think you had us the most excited we've been all season. That was incredible. And I was going to ask how you feel, but Menno's covered that. So all I can say is good luck for Germany, and congratulations on the second one of the season.
Thank you so much.
So yeah.
I think, Menno, that covers us off for the evening. Thanks for joining for the last 10 laps or so.
Yeah, the best
Much
the best
appreciated.
laps. Yeah.
Yeah, you can join halfway through anytime you want if that's going to happen.
Okay.
But next time, I'm sure Jacob will be back, his lovely, soothing voice. So it'll be Jacob and myself for the German Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time. For now, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you then. Good night.